What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on Yahoo with a 12-team half PPR mock. We've got the first pick overall. Should be pretty interesting. And before we kick it off, a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at alldaypigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comments section. Any questions you guys might have, we will do our best to answer them all. And lastly, make sure to check out the 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide. It has everything you can want at a great price. Top 150 overall player rankings in standard and PPR formats, individual player bios, tiers, projections, along with general fantasy advice. Details in the description. But with that being said, let's get into it. We're on the clock. We're picking first overall, like we said. And I'm going to keep this one simple. I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor. And I feel like Taylor's, he's the consensus for the most part, number one pick. Standard formats, I'd say like 95+% of the time. In half point PPR formats, probably that goes down to like 90% of the time. And then in full PPR formats, maybe like 85% of the time, 80% of the time. Now, I've said this before, really in any half or really PPR format, I would probably go Christian McCaffrey just because if we're projecting a full healthy season, I think McCaffrey has the highest upside out of anyone. And what I was going to say before is that Yahoo, out of any platform, has Christian McCaffrey probably ranked the lowest. I think he was at their number 5 or 6 overall spot. But here, obviously, we see we're drafting with people that are intelligent and realize the potential of McCaffrey and can take advantage of those rankings, if you will. But that's why I always say know what platform you're drafting on, because you're not going to be able to potentially get Christian McCaffrey 3rd overall, 4th, 5th overall on a platform that's not Yahoo. For example, ESPN, NFL, Fantasy Pros, whatever, Sleeper, whatever the case might be. But after our Jonathan Taylor pick, you see Austin Eckler. I think, I have no issues with Austin Eckler, but I think if you're picking Austin Eckler, 2nd overall, before Christian McCaffrey, that is, I don't know how you can't make the case that Christian McCaffrey, whether it's half point PPR, whatever the case might be, shouldn't be ahead of Eckler. That's just my 2 cents. Then you see Cooper Kupp, followed by Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. No issues there. Justin Jefferson, followed by Najee Harris, Joe Mixon. So a lot of running backs in this first round. That's usually the way it's going to go. Then Jamar Chase. So 3 out of the 12 picks were wide receiver. I probably would stick to just 2 wide receivers in the first round, Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. But, that's getting into semantics. Then you see Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift. I don't like Nick Chubb going that early in the first round. I realize it's half point PPR. It's not full, but still. Then Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. Josh Allen goes super early. Wow. Javonte Williams, I hate that he went before Aaron Jones, before Alvin Kamara. Leonard Fournette was in there too. And now you see CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, and Deebo Samuel. So let's see the players that are available to us. I kind of have an inkling of where I'm going to go. Our second pick is going to be Saquon Barkley. And I think Barkley is a guy that, he's burned people these last 2 years. So they're wary of him. But I've already got Jonathan Taylor. I feel like I can take a risk there. And now the question is, do we want to go wide receiver or do we want to go maybe a Mark Andrews at the tight end position? You know what? I'm going to go with a wide receiver here. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. I think he is very, very underrated, like pretty much every other year. And then I'm curious to see what the tight end situation looks like afterwards, because if you look at it, there is a huge drop in rankings, like Mark Andrews 23rd overall, then George Kittle 46th, Darren Waller 52nd. So if I can get a George Kittle or Darren Waller in the next round at the end of the, 4th round, I'd be very, very happy with that. But let's see what else happened here. So after we went Keenan Allen, you saw James Conner, Cam Akers, David Montgomery. So I knew I didn't want to go another one of these running backs. If I did, it would have been probably Ezekiel Elliott, honestly. So that's the name that I was looking at. Mark Andrews, tremendous value. Like I said before, I could have gotten him at the start of the 3rd. He goes in the middle of the 3rd round, considering Travis Kelce went with the first pick in the 2nd round. So essentially, he went a round and a half later. Then A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman. There goes Zeke. Again, at the end of the 3rd round almost in a 12-team league, that's absolutely crazy. take advantage of this discount while you can. I think he's going to be a borderline top 10 running back again. Like all that Tony Pollard hype, I think it's a little bit too much. Zeke was playing hurt last year. We're going to see him be the bell cow for the Cowboys again this season. Now, do I have any issues with these picks so far? Josh Allen went way too early in the second round. Javonte Williams shouldn't have gone ahead of a lot of those running backs that I named. I don't like Cam Akers going this early in the third round. Coming off an Achilles, it's a big issue in my opinion. I think Darrell Henderson is a very good value pick. If you ask me, would you rather have like Javonte Williams at his current ADP or Melvin Gordon? Give me Melvin Gordon 10 times out of 10. Would you rather have Cam Akers or Darrell Henderson at their current ADP? Give me Darrell Henderson 10 out of 10 times. So this is interesting here. I do want to point out like a strategy that we're seeing here for one of these teams. They went 2 wide receivers in the first 2 rounds. Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams. Makes sense, okay. 2 studs, you can't really fault them with that. Then they got Ezekiel Elliott. I love that pick. And then they turned around and got Travis Etienne. This is very much so a draft that I would kind of come up with if I went 2 wide receivers to begin with and the board fell to me the way that it did. I'd be ecstatic with this start, Zeke, then Travis Etienne, and those 2 stud wide receivers. If you go wide receiver heavy, I think this is the way to do it, honestly. So we're back on the clock here, and let's see what players are left available, sorted by, all players. I'm not interested in Breece Hall or anything like that. I will go Darren Waller with one of these 2 picks. I think that's a good value at this point in time. So, getting him at the end of the 4th round in a 12-team league, I'll get like a top 5 tight end. Okay. And now the question is, do we want to go with a, quarterback, a wide receiver, a running back? I'm not going to go with the running back here. I think the much better value is somebody like an Allen Robinson. Getting him as my second wide receiver, feel very, very good about that. He's probably one of my most drafted mid-round wide receivers for good reason. Stud offense. He's very talented. Best quarterback he's played with in his career. So yes. Checks all the boxes. Let's see if we pass up on any like big-time running backs. But, I'm not a fan of Breece Hall. I've said it before. Damian Harris, he's standard suited. A.J. Dillon, standard suited. Miles Sanders, he's going to lose carries to Jalen Hurts. Rashad Penny is interesting. I mentioned guys like Melvin Gordon before. So, but it would have been way, way, way too early for those names. A wide receiver, we could have gone with, a lot of names here, like Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquise Brown. Maybe one of those guys falls to us. We'll see. Maybe a Darnell Mooney does. At tight end, we already went with Darren Waller. And let's check out what's taken place so far. I also mentioned we could have gone quarterback, but I think that would have been a little bit too early. I wanted to shore up that wide receiver position. It's exactly what we did with Allen Robinson. Let's see if anything crazy happened here in the 4th round before we selected Darren Waller. So it was DJ Moore, Patrick Mahomes. Notice Patrick Mahomes went pretty much 2 rounds after Josh Allen. Great value if you look at it that way. Travis Etienne, Kyle Pitts. Again, I don't think Kyle Pitts should be going ahead of George Kittle and Darren Waller. You see Deontay Johnson, Elijah Mitchell, Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin, Josh Jacobs, George Kittle, J.K. Dobbins. We'll see what happens with J.K. Dobbins. There's been some reports out there that he might or might not be ready for week 1. Then you see Darren Waller, who we selected, followed by Allen Robinson, a couple of pass catchers after that, DK Metcalf, Mike Williams, Rashad Bateman. I will say, depending on where Jimmy Garoppolo goes, if he somehow goes to Seattle, which I don't think will happen because that would be within the division, values for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are going to skyrocket. So, if you're banking on something like that happening and you feel pretty confident about it, then now would be the time to get a discount on those guys. Then you see Justin Herbert. So we have our run on quarterbacks here in the next round and a half. Justin Herbert, Breece Hall, A.J. Dillon. There goes Lamar Jackson. Good value, Damian Harris, Brennan Cooks, Miles Sanders, Juju. I mentioned Juju before. Kyler Murray at the start of the 6th round, awesome value. So nothing really to nitpick there. He just signed a big-time contract with the Cardinals, so we know he's going to be there for a while. Dalton Schultz then goes, followed by Joe Burrow, Jerry Jeudy, Devin Singletary, there goes Marquise Brown. So, he doesn't end up making his way back to us, but that's okay. Right now, I feel very, very good about our roster. I think it's very balanced. I think, we have 2 studs at the running back position. Right now, if I could choose what, would go our way, I'd probably go with Darnell Mooney And you see here a quick note on Michael Thomas that he's going on the PUP list. So we're going to be staying away from him. But yeah, I think right now Darnell Mooney has like some of the highest upside here. So let's draft him because we know he's healthy. He's going to get a lot of targets in Chicago. Running back, let's see what we're looking at the running back position. Rashad Penny is kind of tempting. I'm not going to lie. Kind of taking a chance on a boomer bust guy. It's a little bit too early though, but we could use some of that depth. Wide receiver, I think right now Chris Godwin is an interesting name, but he's another guy there's question marks in terms of injuries. He hasn't been placed on the PUP list yet, but I'll take a chance on him. I don't mind taking a chance on him at this point in time. I feel like there's been conflicting reports. Some people say that he's going to be available after being placed on the PUP list. While coaches from Tampa Bay are saying, oh yeah, we're optimistic he'll be there week 1. It's a mock draft, so I'm not sweating it too much in terms of what's going to happen. But fast forward a month from now, if there's still no news that's come out, I'd be a little bit concerned, and I'd be waiting until more concrete information comes out. So other names that we could have gone with, I do like Alan Lazard. I mentioned at running back we could have gone Rashad Penny. I imagine he's going to be drafted very shortly. We could have gone a quarterback. Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady both went off the board. And, what I will say is now the majority of teams do have quarterbacks. Other than us, there is 1 and 2 other teams that don't have a quarterback. So, if we can get Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson, I'd be very, very happy. Let's see how these rankings look at the quarterback position. And, I'll probably, so exactly in that order, Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson. So I'd actually guess that they won't make it back to us. So we'll probably just go with Derek Carr and call it a day. But right now, the core of our roster is complete. Let's take a look at it. It looks the following way. At wide receiver, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, feel very good about that. Running back, Jonathan Taylor, how can you not feel good about that? Saquon Barkley, a really nice compliment. Then we got Darren Waller, top 5 tight end. As long as he's healthy, I think, the Raiders are going to have an awesome offense. Darnell Mooney, huge volume. That should be nice. Chris Godwin is kind of a flyer. I like that. If he, like I said before, if he plays the majority of the season, it's going to be a good investment. So right now, I think we're, just, again, a very solid team, a B+ B type of team. If we see Saquon Barkley of old and like Darren Waller of a year and a half ago, we're golden. As far as the 7th round, what we saw, a run on tight ends, Hawkinson, Dawson Knox, Freiermuth, Zach Ertz. There went, Rashad Penny, Melvin Gordon also went. So, like I said, like I imagined, we wouldn't have those choices in terms of drafting those guys. Here, I'm hoping we can get, like I said before, either Matthew Stafford or Russell Wilson, and then I'd be very happy. We kind of, wrap up our roster, and I think we're going to be able to get one of those guys. So very, very happy about that. Let's see if there's any other very good values, something like that. A wide receiver, Lazard is still there, a guy that I like, depending on, I guess, what happens with the Packers and then potentially adding some other weapons. Running back, I don't really love any of these guys that are left at this point in time. I guess we can go Darrell Henderson, but I think it's way too early for that. So at tight end, let's see if there's anything crazy. We've gotten to the point where I guess I'd probably go Cole Kmet here. Yeah. So we're just going to take a quarterback. It's going to be pretty simple, and we're going to go from there and just kind of wrap it up. But as always, look, let me hear it in the comments section. Any questions you guys might have, I'll do my best to answer them all. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. And lastly, make sure to check out the 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide, now available for purchase. All the details in the description. But in the meantime, we will see you guys in future videos.